No. Hell no. No. What? What did I just watch? That's how I'm going to start this off. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Z-Man Show. What did we just see? For those who did just see The World Beyond, this first episode, pilot episode maybe. I'm not even sure if they call it that, but what just happened? I spent that entire... I wish I would have had a camera on myself and you would have saw my face trying to understand what was kind of going on, and also trying to feel something for the characters that they were throwing in front of us. So much so that, I have to look at the characters' names, because I was just trying to figure out what was kind of going down, which again, it's the first episode, we're all trying to figure things out. But this is what was amazing about The Walking Dead in the beginning. You had just like one character, or you had this simple little story that just grew and grew and grew, and you fell in love with these characters. At least we all did in the beginning. It was an amazing show. We all loved it. We did. It was great. This show, I barely care about any of these characters. It follows these two sisters. Mind you, I'm still trying to figure this one out. It's Hope and Iris, right? But one is clear. It's definitely a mixed family, but when you see their parents, they both look African-American, whatever. The one daughter's African-American. The other one, I'm not sure what her nationality, but she's not African-American. Doesn't even look anything like it. Not even mixed. I'm just trying to wrap my head around that for a half a second. But I'm like, okay, so it is, and that's fine. Okay, we go with it, right? We start following these two, and immediately this Iris, we find out she's part of this school. She's in school, and she's part of she's like vice president of the school or this or that, and she's writing speeches, and they're going to get ready to commemorate this monument day, which basically says 10 years since they call it falling from the sky. Which, mind you, was anybody else super confused about understanding what that day was? Because I kept wondering, is this a day that happened like after the apocalypse fall, where maybe it was another huge settlement or something and a plane crash and it disrupted their world even more? But it was easily, I guess, to assume that no, they meant day one when all hell broke loose. But it was very confusing for me. I couldn't quite grasp it, the way they were wording it, speaking in their terms. Of course, God has to be the new age terms. Not to mention, did anybody notice this? My wife was noticing this. Their style when they were kind of like doing the little sketch art, whatever like that. It looked like MTV's, the mom, would have the babies or whatever like that. And then also like the style of The World Beyond also looks like MTV. It's like, I'm trying to figure out who is their target audience for World Beyond. Is it supposed to be kids? Is it supposed to be the younger generations that are moving in? Because I can promise you that is not your target. That should be your target audience. They're probably not watching your show. Zombie lovers and older fans, we're more than likely the ones that are going to be watching your show. So I'm like, who are you really catering to right here? These two sisters, I'm trying to get on board with these, and one is Iris. She's drinking this Kool-Aid. And she's like, oh, the CRM, the Civic, Republic Military Service, whatever the hell your name is. And they take a bus there with a bunch of people. And then, again, I'm just trying to get caught up really fast, like what's happening in the story. And they're going to welcome the CRM coming in, which clearly there's some weird blood going in between these three colonies or alliances, like Omaha, Portland, and the CRM. And CRM's trying to play nice with these, but CRM are very secretive. They don't want to tell anybody where they are, what they're up to. They take their people, probably barely with asking. They took Iris and Hope's dad, because he's some genius doctorate, and they're trying to work on a cure, the future, teaching, this and that. Okay, that's interesting. But, Iris is she's drinking this happy dance Kool-Aid, and it is super annoying during this entire episode. And it never really ends until towards the end when she finally gets brave or something like that, and they want to go find their dad. Anyways, we'll get to that. Hope is very troubled. She saw her mom die. We don't really understand how. We're going to get through this, but I don't have to go through it all. You guys saw it. I'm trying to understand these characters, okay? We meet a couple boys. One is Silas. Well, I call him Toby the Giant. He's just kind of like, he's got his headphones, and clearly he's just not comfortable around other people, but I think he wants to be. Interesting character. And then Elton, and then he's like this little, I don't know, mini like Doogie Howser MD, boy genius guy, but yet he's brave and he's going out into the world and searching for things that may have been lost. He's trying to find his place in this world, and he's confused. Okay, a confused teen. I mean, I guess definitely a lot of people are confused when they're teenagers. But I like just the guys in general that they have given us something to grasp onto. Just feel like I hate to say, I'm sorry, the soy boys of like today's generation that just don't have much backbone. I mean, yeah, we see some bravery kind of forming here. So we see some messages come in from the dad. Basically, one says just a few words, which I guess he didn't have time to get it all out. Basically saying his safety was not assured or something like that. They talk to Felix, their guardian. Felix is like, there's nothing we can do about it. Can't tell this and that. And then the next message has just pretty much long written out, basically saying, shit has hit the fan. Pardon me. Stuff has hit the fan. Don't tell the council. Don't tell Felix. I'll find a way out. Love you, girls. Okay, Dad. Well, you work on that. We'll just wait here, right? You have these young girls, these young boys who have never been out in the world to really experience these empties, as they call them. They have a different term. Okay, so the empties. And when I watch them finally by the end, and I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but by the end, when they're walking out of their compound or like that, I'm like, I give you guys 2 days tops. 2 days before either the elements kill you or the empties, the walkers do. Absolutely. Are you kidding me? There have been some of the most fierce survivors we have watched that have just died by just terrible circumstances. It just happens. Not just by other people, just by walkers in general. Think about the earlier seasons. Oh, eye roll after eye roll after mouth drop after eye roll. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not on board. This has been I said it in my review before. I just talked about the season finale for The Walking Dead. A huge disappointment. Huge disappointment. I give it a 6.5. It didn't deserve that. I am so lenient with that right now. Maybe the cinematography and stuff like that, I give it higher scores, maybe 7, 8. Everything else, there was no fear. It was just one thing running into the next thing after the next thing. The wagon breaking down, and then the whispers kind of jumping up there. That was one thing. I'm sorry, I'm jumping off to Walking Dead, but there's all this disappointment, and all these scenes are just rattling through my brain. I just don't know how to comprehend. What did you think about The World Beyond? I have to know. For my devoted people that do come out, and actually there's a few of you that actually comment, please talk me down, talk me off this ledge, help me feel some kind of placement, like it's gonna be okay, or don't, and just tell me that I'm right and when I'm justified in what I'm saying. I'm sorry, guys. I am the World Beyond is worse than Fear at this point in time. 1 episode in, it's not much. We need to see more, but it ranks at the lowest, hands down, or up for that matter, in the 3. The Walking Dead, Fear, World Beyond. I don't understand what they're doing. Iris's character's, pardon me, the African American girl. I don't feel a bond. I don't feel like I'm getting on board with I don't feel her feelings. I don't think and I know she was trying to hide them. That was the point, right? But by the end, she's actually letting them go. And please tell me right now, that awkward scene where the CRM chick, I think is it Elizabeth, excuse me, it's Elizabeth. She's sitting there and she's giving the speech. So Iris went to go see the doctor, which, mind you, that doctor, hands down, was my favorite character during this entire episode. She was grounded. She understood. And I think you know why? Because she was from the old world. The old world that's now kind of gone. The old zombie world, if you will, years before. And so you could tell that she was on a ventilator or something like that. So she's not doing very well. I thought it was really awesome how they had she was in a wing where basically all the doors were barred, so that if she did turn, which it could happen, inevitable, they can't get out. Because I was like, man, they can't just let these people die. They'd be wandering around. We see what happened to the prison years and years ago with The Walking Dead. So she finally does. She ends up turning, unfortunately. I really liked her character. She was interesting. I liked her, and she told it how it was. And exactly why I don't like Iris. She's just drinking this Kool-Aid and can't get on board. But she finally has this epiphany, whatever, after all these nightmares about her mom and this not being there and her sister and not opening up. And she goes to give this speech, and she starts in, and she kind of breaks, and then, of course, she goes into her own version. And when I'm talking about the awkward scene is when she basically goes, and honestly, and she looks over and she goes, I don't trust you. I don't know what we're doing. I'm like, whoa, calling her out entirely in front of the entire colony, which is over 9,000 people in this colony. And the Elizabeth woman, she goes, you will. And that's leaves it be. And then, so Iris returns back to the audience to kind of talk for a few more moments. And then she goes, but someone once called me brave. And then she looks back and smiles at her. I'm like, you just called her out and tell your entire colony about she's bullshit pretty much. And now you're commending her for calling you brave? The writing, so poor, so poor. I mean, amateur. It's amateur at best. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I sit here in confusion. I want to talk and I want to praise the show somehow. I had cautiously optimistic. It's a term I've been using lately with a lot of movies, just because you just don't know where they're going to turn out these days. There's so much cinema's been done. Can they still wow us and awe us like we should be? I was cautiously optimistic. I thought maybe, but I heard no, it's just gonna be Stand By Me. Old movie if you guys ever saw it. Where basically it's Stand By Me, the 4 kids pretty much, and zombies. Is it that? No, but it's worse. I think at this point in time, and the idea that these 4 are gonna survive on their own. And let's kick off the big kicker so we can finish off this vid at the very end. So those 4 managed to get out of that complex just in time before the CRM goes completely homicidal on the entire population. And all we see is a field of just dead people where the monument, where they're having their civil gathering and all that good stuff and it's commemorating. So the CRM are, it didn't take a genius to know that they are bad. They're absolutely bad. And that one woman told Althea, I think that's her name, better get my fear names back going. She told her, she said, we're not what you think we are. We're not for the people of today. We're for what the future, what's to come. And that right there is a riddle in itself. But I get it. You say you're not for us today, so pretty much you don't care about anybody. So going into this, I was like, what are they trying to pull here, right? And so they murdered everybody except for Felix and Huck. It's a long story though, and I'm sure we'll spend a good episode just figuring out why they call her Huck, because that's important. Oh, peeps, this I'm gonna quote Adam Driver. This isn't gonna end well. It's not gonna end very well. The Dead Don't Die, by the way. Check that out. Good movie. I have a review on it too. I hope you guys enjoyed this talk on it, and maybe I helped. I don't know, make you think a little bit more about the show and my frustrations as I was watching it. I am super lenient when it usually comes to like a lot of the zombie stuff because so much has been done. Horror films, B films, I mean, I give them so much credit where other critics would rip them apart. I'm telling you right now, this just is a cluster. And I hope, and I really do hope, that the next episodes will start to pull us in and make us care something for these characters. Oh, and that cringeworthy scene where she's like, I got this, the first zombie, Iris. I really don't like her character. I don't feel anything for her. I mean, maybe for Hope, because and that was an interesting scene too. Did you see that scene with the gun? When she picked up the gun after the pregnant lady ends up shooting them. I mean, seriously, my mouth was just like, are you kidding me right now? I mean, it could happen. Sure, whatever. Anything can happen. But I'm just like, that just really happened, And then I guess Hope picks up the gun, and do you see how fast it fired? So I assume, being a little girl, didn't understand what she was doing. She picked it up out of anger, and it misfired. She pulled it quickly because she probably didn't know what she was doing. Probably just an accident. But she killed her, right? And maybe we'll find out more. Maybe that's in her mind she thought it was an accident. Maybe she cold-blooded killed her too back. But my wife was saying, like, is that really what a little girl would do after seeing her mom get killed? Wouldn't she be screaming and crying and covering? I mean, I just got to be honest. Did she grow up in, like, the most dangerous parts of, like, certain cities or this or that? Or, like, is she just a stone-cold killer on the inside and it's just getting ready to come out? It doesn't look like it so far. And just like that, just picked up the gun. I'm pointing this gun back at you and fires. Maybe. I guess so. And so that last cringeworthy scene I was just talking to you before I thought about that last scene. These scenes, that really bothered me, right? So Elton finds his little long-lost triceratops horn or something like that in the dark out in the apocalypse area, which, yes, okay, it could be argued, yes, he was going out there several times, whatever, but he said he lost it. And you happen to walk the same path and you just found it? Damn. It's amazing luck. It's like a lot of craziness that just should have probably happened. And then he modifies a spear by tying that on with some kind of strap. That thing would last for maybe 10 kills. Maybe. That thing is totally coming off. Okay. And she that's her weapon, and she tells the other 3, I got this. I got us into this. I told us we're going to leave and go find my dad in New York because he's in trouble. And clearly, we can take on the CRM, right? Because that's going to work. So let me take out this zombie first. and she starts going up there, and first I'm like, is she just gonna, all right, maybe she'll just spear him, and she does this, before she does this weird like move, and is and they cut the scene so you don't even see it, because I can only imagine it, the ending blow or whatever it would look like would probably have been just as awkward as we can imagine it, just as awkward as this whole episode was. That's it for me, guys. I'm done ranting. I know you're probably like, Jesus, does this guy have anything nice to say about the show? Well, no, I really don't so far. And I hope to bring something to you guys in the future. I try not to be this cynical. I'm telling you, I was in a good mood tonight, guys. I was so ready for Walking Dead. We've been waiting so long for these episodes to finally come out, at least for those of us who are really still into the show. And it was, the episode 16 for Walking Dead was brutal. It wasn't scary. It didn't make me feel anything really. It's just, except that a bunch of events just it worked out. I think even Luke even says, I can't believe that worked. Like, I was thinking, yeah, we can't either, you know? And then this World Beyond show, it's, it's to be determined. We'll see what happens. So thanks for coming out. This is the Z-Man Show. I am Mike. Make sure to come out every Wednesday. My buddy Adam and I do talks on movies and other fun stuff. Right now we're kind of on an 80s kick, just kind of talking all kinds of crazy stuff. We're going to be talking The Lost Boys this Wednesday, 1987. Amazing thriller, horror, vampire movie. If you haven't seen it, you're younger or something like that, haven't come across it, go check that one out. I promise you, it is done very well and you will enjoy it. So with that said, this is the Z-Man Show, and I will see you guys at the next review. See you guys.